Thank you, Ms. Van. And welcome to tonight's special meeting of the Citrus Heights City Council for January 28th, 2021. I'll call this meeting to order, and would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Bruins is absent. Councilmember Daniels.
Here.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Here.
Vice Mayor Middleton.
Present.
And Mayor Miller.
Here. Do we have any public comment, Amy?
I do not have any written comment, and if you would like to speak, you can use the raise hand function in Zoom. And I do not see any raised hands at this time.
Folks? Well, then let's get started with our financial update study session.
All right, very good. Well, thank you, Mayor. Members of the council. I'm Chris Boyd, the city manager. Tonight, we're holding a workshop to really give some detailed information around the state of our finances. I'll talk in a minute about kind of the two significant kind of pieces we're going to focus on tonight, but just a couple of opening comments. You know, our city has had over 2 decades of really great history and success, and we've built many remarkable strengths over 22 plus years as a city, as we all know, and all of our citizens know. And the state of our finances has been a topic that has been given careful consideration over all of that time, as time has evolved and as circumstances have evolved. And the ability to predict where we would be at the end of a 25-year revenue neutrality agreement has really been the challenge. And I think we've done much better than expected, for sure. But there's been factors along the way that's impacted our finances in terms of history. Really around the great recession, I think, is when some of these issues started with really probably all local governments. And I think we've been really trying to deal with our financial future year over year, really ever since. But it is really in the last 2 years where as we've gotten closer to really the end of this 25-year period, where we've really struggled to, build strategies around, not only getting to the 25th year, but really, many years and decades beyond. But with coming out of the Great Recession, we've been also dealing with, like many others, an Amazon world. We are a retail sales reliant city. We are somewhat unique that way in terms of our circumstances. And so we've seen our revenue on par go down as we've seen our expenses go up for, better part of a decade, or more that we've been really kind of grappling with. The answer to that really has been around the topic of economic development. In the last couple of years, the council's made some very bold moves in putting the topic of economic development really at the top of their policy priority. And I think we're going to see great fruits of the labor from that and from that direction, and some of the bold action the council's been taking, notably around the Sunrise Mall by engaging in a specific plan. The work that we've been doing and continue to do and will soon be finished in the not too distant future on Auburn Boulevard, and economically what that has been doing, what that will continue to do out into our future for our community, other small projects, medical office buildings and other things. And we continue to have a vibrant, community on the development side. And, we are bringing in new business. We do lose business, but we do bring in new business, and we are building where we can. Perhaps road resurfacing our streets has been our biggest, or certainly our most expensive obstacle. When we became a city, we inherited everything, including our roads. Our roads were at a deficit then, and it's been, a struggle really ever since to ever really find ways for the necessary funding sources to get caught up on our road resurfacing and our maintenance. And that continues to be our number one issue as a local government, certainly in terms of expense going forward. We have many strengths as well, and too many to list tonight for the purposes of this workshop. But, you know, one of them for sure is always been and currently is the talent level of our workforce. We're in the business of providing service, and we hire and retain people to provide those services. The men and women in the police department and in every department are top tier and give their all every single day. And I know we all know that and are proud of that, but I want to make sure that, you know, we also highlight our strengths too, because our weaknesses are kind of what brings us, you know, to this workshop tonight. I think we've had bold leadership in our council. Some of the things I've already talked about, particularly on the topic of economic development, let alone our great history and becoming a city and forming our own police department and all of those things. So, you know, but we find ourselves now in a place, in a time where we need to make some difficult decisions with our financial future, with our roads deficits and some of these challenges that we've been facing with, you know, really lacking a diverse economy and, you know, and other, you know, real solutions on the expense side. You know, all of that really led to really what was the recommendation that would have really solved a lot of these issues. And that was ultimately the sales tax measure that was put before the voters in November. And as everyone knows, that measure failed on a narrow margin. And so that has now brought us to where we are now, where without really a new revenue source to deal with some of these service issues that we have into our community, then, you know, our only other option really is to reduce our budget. So, so tonight, you know, we're going to really talk about two, you know, phases that we have been focused on and want to spend time with the council and the community going through the details and the numbers, the service areas, and some of the consequences of where we are, and really hear from the council and answer questions about where we are. So the first thing we're really going to talk about is the current fiscal year that we are in. Staff has taken enormous strides to take actions to make sure that we balance this year with while not using any additional line of credit that was already adopted by the council in the last 2 years. We have not used line of credit to close the gap in our budget either last year or proposing not to this year. The steps we're taking, some of the service reductions we've already made while we are making these reductions this year. Then we will move in and talk about building the next 2-year budget beginning this coming July 1st. And a lot of information will be similar in that the strategies we're using now, we're proposing to carry over really permanently and into the long term. So we will get in and talk about building the 2-year budget. Then coming out of tonight, we'll hear from you, and then we'll continue to take what we hear from you and build the 2-year budget with the principles that we are proposing and the numbers, the factual numbers where we know that we are. So I will tell you, I mean, the numbers are difficult. The gap is large, but we do have proposals and strategies to close that gap. You know, but what that leads to is ultimately staff reductions and service reductions. So that's what we're going to talk about. And so we'll go ahead and move right into that. Thanks for indulging me for a few minutes, and I'll turn it over. I'm not sure who we're going to be doing this as a team, council. A number of us will be speaking on different slides and speaking and maybe coming back and speaking some more. So we'll go ahead and get started, please.
Thank you, Chris. Who's going to kick it off?
Rhonda Rivera, Assistant City Manager. I'll kick it off. Okay, next slide, Amy. And Amy's driving for us, so I appreciate that very much. So again, thank you, City Manager Boyd, for the introduction and the background. My name is Rhonda Rivera, and I'm the Assistant City Manager. And I just wanted to give you a little bit more background to the budget. So the city's first 2-year budget was adopted in June 2019. Staff presented a budget update with recommended budget amendments in June of 2020. At the same meeting, an update to the city's 10-year budget model was also presented. During this presentation, the City Council was shown charts and graphs showing the city was facing extreme financial challenges. The 10-year model was shown that it was not sustainable at the current revenue and expenditure levels, and property taxes were not going to solve the issue. And as a reminder, the city will not receive property taxes until early 2023. And the city has known since incorporation that there would be a crossover period during the 5-year revenue neutrality agreement with Sacramento County. And the model also showed that the city was below the recommended general fund reserve balance. And the city was facing some significant impacts due to COVID-19 pandemic, and the city had multiple items that had been unfunded. The following slides will provide a review of the adopted and amended budget for fiscal year 2021, our current budget. Next slide, Amy. Now I'll turn it over to Tammy.
Hi, good afternoon. Tammy Nosardi, Finance Manager. So for this particular slide, it's showing the adopted and the amended budgets as of June of 2020. Later on in this presentation, staff will be outlining the city's year-end projections for this fiscal year 2021. As a reminder, City Council adopted the original 2021 budget as part of a 2-year budget in June of 2019. In June of 2020, staff presented an amended budget for 2021. Included in this amendment budget was a reduction in revenue of $1.2 million, which included sales tax decrease of $1.4 million and a motor vehicle license fee increase of $200,000 based on updated recommendations from the city's revenue consultant. The main contributing factor to the reduction in revenue was due to the COVID forecast. On the expenditure side, risk management premiums were projected to increase by $200,000 and workers' compensation claims to increase by $250,000. The increases in the city's risk budgets are due to unusually high number of natural disasters, civil unrest, which has had a taxing effect on the insurance industry. In addition to the amendments, $340,000 of expenditure budget dollars were carried over from fiscal year 1920 to fiscal year 2021. These expenditures were delayed due to the timing of the pandemic. Next slide, please. On this pie chart, it's showing the general fund supports 2 components, personnel and operations. The general fund of $34.4 million is broken down to 75% personnel and 25% operational cost. This is a typical breakdown for most agencies. Next slide. On this slide, it's showing the personnel components of the general fund is allocated, how the personnel components of the general fund is allocated to the various departments. As you can see by this chart, the majority of the personnel costs are allocated to the police department, which once again is common in most agencies. Now back to Rhonda.
Next slide. So this slide is showing staff's updated year-end projections for the current fiscal year. As part of the budget process, staff continually updates the projections as more information becomes available and as we move through the budget year. Knowing the city was facing financial challenges even before the pandemic, deliberate steps were taken to reduce expenditures as much as possible. At this time, we are projecting a slight increase in revenue of about $100,000 from what we had in the amended budget from June of 2020. And staff is also projecting a reduction of about $3.1 million in budgeted expenditures. The majority of the $3.1 million in expenditure reductions were achieved through personnel savings. Positions were kept vacant as they became available and corresponding services were reduced. In addition to the savings measures that were taken by staff, the city also received a one-time CARES Act funding reimbursement of just over $1 million. Staff is now projecting the city will end the fiscal year with a small surplus and will not be utilizing the approved $1.2 million line of credit that the city manager previously mentioned. Again, the surplus is due mostly to the salary savings from vacant positions as well as the CARES Act funding. Next slide. As previously mentioned, staff is projecting a year-end expenditure savings of $3.1 million, $2.4 million in salary savings and $700,000 in reduced operating costs. The salary savings are due to intentionally leaving 37 positions vacant citywide and reducing corresponding services. And as the city manager mentioned, when we went into this fiscal year, we knew we already had an adopted deficit. And so staff started very early on in the fiscal year working on reducing those expenditures. But they do, of course, come with a cost. Next slide. The city has 211.25 full-time equivalent positions and approximately 30 non-benefited part-time positions. The approved full-time positions are shown in green and the part-time positions are shown in red. As shown, the police department currently has 28 vacant positions and City Hall has 9 vacant positions. While these vacancies produce budgetary savings, they also come with a reduction in services. The city manager and police chief will provide additional information on the service reductions. Now I'm turning it over to Chris.
All right, thank you. Yeah, next slide, Amy, please. So still focused on this current year and discussing reductions in positions that we've made. I want to talk briefly about the commiserate service reductions thus far and steps that we have taken. We've, for purposes of time, rather than go through every department, what we've done is really under the City Hall, it's really all the other city departments, and then we'll do police specifically next. So we've reduced some of our succession planning programs and staff training to cut costs. We have had to delay updating human resources, legal mandates. During this COVID process, the state has literally been throwing week after week new laws and regulations to employers, including ourselves, on COVID regulations, and we need staff to be able to analyze. Sometimes we need legal analysis and then turn those into staff policies as mandated by the state. That has been difficult to keep up with. Reduced community engagement with less staff, reduced economic development and communications programs. We've had to have some delays in processing development projects, delays in response to public calls and emails, and a reduced ability to pursue grants. And I'll move it to staying on the same topic here of current city cuts. I'll move to the chief.
Good evening, Chief Lawrence with the Police Department. And Before I get started, Mr. Mayor, I know I believe I have quite a bit of my staff that are watching tonight. So I want to just take a minute to thank the brave men and women of the Citrus Heights Police Department who work tirelessly to keep this community safe. And despite working with extremely low staffing levels, and while we're doing fewer things than we ever did before the budget deficit, it has in no way diminished their professionalism or their desire to protect and serve this community. The police services provided to the Citrus Heights community remains top quality thanks to our police professionals, and I'm very proud of them. I want to thank too my command staff, particularly Management Analyst Cass Burnett and both of my commanders for helping to navigate our department through this difficult budget time and the challenging staffing shortages. The strategies that we carefully and thoughtfully implemented at the police department, which we're about to go over, have prevented us from laying any people off up to this point. And I'm hopeful we'll avoid layoffs in the near future. Immediately after the November election, we began not filling vacant positions. And as positions became vacant, we held them open. But this required us to reduce police services that we provide to ensure we're maintaining adequate staffing in our core areas, such as patrol, and our 911 dispatch center, and other critical units. Now, we've shrunk other units to minimum levels, and some have even been completely suspended, which I'm about to go over. But even non-emergency units must be maintained to certain levels to continue to meet legal mandates and function as a police department. So you can see on this first slide here, I'll start with patrol and operations. We've reduced staffing. This will result in, or has resulted in, an increase in response times for cold calls and non-injury traffic collisions, an increased burden on patrol officers, reducing proactive crime reductions, fewer patrol officers visible throughout our city, fewer officers available for emergency response and mutual aid requests. In fact, we stopped going to mutual aid requests where we help other agencies in mid-December as a result of staffing. And it will also result in customer service delays for low priority calls. In our animal services unit, we've reduced staffing to reduced minimum required services only. So rabies control, animal adoptions, response to dangerous dogs, and removal of deceased animals. We've eliminated our trap and release program and other enhanced services. And our service hours have been reduced to weekday business hours only. Significantly, this has increased response times to calls for service, sometimes a few days, even if someone calls about a deceased animal, for example. If we go to the next slide. In our records unit, we've reduced our staff in our records unit by more than 50%. This has resulted in inadequate staffing of our police department lobby. We've implemented a phone tree for non-emergency calls for service, and this has resulted in increased wait times for our public. It's created an inability to properly transition to impending legal mandates such as NIBRS, RIPA, and Public Records Act. And I won't explain what NIBRS and RIPA are, but those are both federally and state mandates that we have to comply with in the very near future. It's resulted in a delay in criminal filings and cases and warrant preparation for the district attorney's office, a delay in responding to report requests and providing actual reports to citizens, and an inability to provide live scan services or fingerprint services to the public. So we refer to those to outside sources at this point. Our youth and family services unit has been completely suspended. We needed to move those positions into patrol so we could have enough officers on patrol. This resulted in elimination or reduction in youth programs, significantly reduction in the PAL and Explorers. Our PALs are our Police Activities League, and our Explorer program, which we'll maintain because those are nonprofits, but they will be significantly reduced. Programs in the youth unit that have been completely eliminated are our Pathway program at Mesa Verde High School, our special community events such as birthday drive-bys, Miracle on Fountain Square Drive, Trunk or Treat, holiday referral program, Shop with a Cop, etc. Some of those we may be able to pull off, but at this point, we just don't have the adequate staffing to do those. And other ones to be eliminated are the every 15-minute anti-DUI program and other youth outreach and crime prevention programs. It also eliminates all of our school resource officers in all of our schools. Our special investigations unit has been completely suspended, again, to move those officers and that sergeant into patrol to make sure we have adequate staffing on the streets. This has resulted in all drug activity reported by citizens diverted to patrol staff instead of special investigations. And this results in no consistent response to narcotics complaints. There's a potential increase in property and violent crime due to a nexus to illegal narcotics and street crimes. There's no focus on illegal narcotics possessions or sales, and no gang expertise or prevention in Citrus Heights as a result. Also prohibits us from being able to have enough staff to do warrant sweeps, such as sex registrants, probation and parole sweeps, domestic violence, and gang affiliation sweeps. Let's go to the next slide.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, City Manager Boyd. So that concludes staff's updated projections for the current fiscal year. Again, we are projecting a small surplus due to the approximate $3.1 million in labor and operations savings. And those again are due to the decision to leave positions vacant, reduce services, and also the receipt of the one-time CARES Act reimbursement funding. So now, are there any questions regarding the fiscal year 2021 update?
I'll ask a few.
Questions?
Yep.
Go ahead, Brett.
Thank you. The general fund reserve balance was mentioned. Do we have a number on what we have in the general fund reserve right now?
It's roughly $5 million, and we have some slides later on in the presentation as we talk about our 10-year model that will give you the current updates.
Okay, thank you. And then on the revenue side, does the revenue projections for the rest of this year include the Sylvan sale? Where aren't we getting 200 like right away, and then another 200 within a fairly short period of time, or something like that? Another 200,000?
No, it does not include that as revenue, and that's due to Sylvan property purchase was done with the line of credit. And once those full revenues are received and the sale of the property is closed, council will need to decide at that time how they want to utilize that revenue, whether putting it back on the line of credit to pay off that debt, or using it for another purpose and pay off the line of credit with another source.
But we are getting the 400,000 within a short period of time this year?
Yes, and I do believe that we have, in the escrow account, they have made a deposit of the money. I would have to confirm whether or not that's actually been transferred to the city.
And then you mentioned that we would decide to do something later. Is that a requirement, or is that up to us if we want to do something with that money now?
Well, I'm not, again, I'd have to confirm that we've actually received the funds now, but again, those funds are part of the payback to the line of credit.
Well, but here's my point. If it's our money, once we get it, don't we get to decide what we do with it and when we do that?
That is a council decision.
Okay, thank you. And then my other two questions are on the police department side. Of the 21 full-time equivalents that are being held vacant, how many of those are sworn police officer positions?
So far in this fiscal year, of the 21 full-time positions that we've held vacant, 13 of those are sworn police officers, and that equates to about 10% of our police force.
And does that mean we have 21 right now?
There are currently 21 full-time vacancies. Of those, 13 are sworn police officer vacancies.
Okay, and then how many officers were assigned to the Special Investigations Unit that had to be suspended?
I believe there was 2 and a sergeant.
Okay, all right, that's it, thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question. So certainly what you've laid out for us so far is kind of it's a reality, but it's really kind of a worst case scenario, assuming that that we won't see a recovery from COVID by June, or we may not see any additional funding from the federal government as the stimulus package goes through. I understand that it is planned that cities will receive some compensation there. We obviously have no idea what that is, but I just want to look at this from a realistic standpoint on the one side, but on the other side, a hopeful standpoint that we can anticipate a better situation before June.
Are you asking if we are anticipating a better situation?
Sure, yes. I'm asking, are you anticipating a better situation by June?
No, we are not. The numbers we have before you here are research numbers where on the tax side where our consultants have us. We are aware that, we are seeing in the media, like everybody, stimulus talk, but none of that is translated down as of yet. If cities like ours or our size and our state would see any of that, and what terms would be attached to those, what you could actually use that for.
So the
We are not counting on that.
So the $1 million that we've received so far, we didn't anticipate that that was going to happen? But that just kind of fell on our lap at one point, or how did that come about?
We did not. We did not anticipate before that happened that was going to happen. We were told, there's been a lot of ups and downs on stimulus discussions over the whole last year. This was one funding source, thankfully, that we were eligible for to use for our operations expenses. But we have that. That's been booked as we've shown you here. So that is a done situation.
Thank you.
Any other questions before we move on?
Not at this time.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
this is Chief Lawrence. I want to correct my response to Councilmember Daniels about the Special Investigations Unit. I said it was 2 and a sergeant. It's actually 4 positions, 4 police officers and 1 sergeant came out of Special Investigations.
Thank you. Okay, who's up next?
I'm going to continue on. So the next portion of our presentation will focus on issues and recommendations as we prepare for the next 2-year budget. And just to kind of give you a little bit of an introduction, the first step in preparing for the next budget cycle is to take the current fiscal year budget and update it using the council approved 10-year budget model. This process helps us forecast what the future revenue and expenditures will be, and the city consultant, Bill Zanoni, will discuss the process and challenges the city is now facing.
Thank you, Rhonda. I'm Bill Zanoni with Municipal Resource Group. As most of you at least are aware, the city has developed a 10-year financial forecast for the general fund, which has been presented to the city council several times during the past 2 budget cycles. Last year, the forecast was presented in February as part of the mid-year budget review, so just about this time last year. And then again, an update to the financial forecast was presented in June of last year. As we indicated before, the purpose of a financial forecast is to project anticipated revenues and expenditures to identify any potential funding issues well in advance of their occurrence, with the goal of avoiding a fiscal crisis. For discussion this evening, we've developed 3 scenarios for you to consider. Each one of those scenarios assuming same level of revenues, but a different level of operating and expenditure cost fundings. So for the first scenario, I'm going to just start by indicating that over the past several years, in order to balance the city's budget, a number of significant operating and capital cost items have been either deferred or eliminated. Under this first scenario, we've identified approximately $14 million in annual funding needs, which are not currently being met through the budget process. As you can see, the largest single item on this list is maintenance repair of the city streets. A conservative estimate of annual funding requirements for streets is $12 million. Regina Cave provided the City Council with a report on the current status of the city streets and funding needs during the mid-cycle budget review last June. The other funding items that are on this list include city facility maintenance and capital replacement costs, which are currently not being funded, funding for negotiated leave payouts, which we call compensated absences, equipment, software, and city vehicle replacement costs, required payments for retiree medical cost obligations. That's the OPEB, other post-employment benefit line item. And also setting money aside for a general fund emergency or contingency reserve. Go to the next slide. So if we were to assume funding for all of these identified needs, you can see in the fourth column over where the arrow is indicating that the city's general fund would not only be depleted next fiscal year, but would be in a negative position of over $11 million by the end of fiscal year 21-22. And you can see from following that bottom line along that deficit would increase every year, reaching a negative $90+ million by the end of the 10-year forecast period. So given the city's current revenue base, this is clearly not a realistic option. Maybe if we could go to the next slide. This slide just is a picture of the information on the previous slide, and it tracks the general fund reserves. The blue line is our minimum target level of reserves. The black line represents 0, and you can see that we go from pretty much being at our minimum level of reserves right now in a downward spiral every year. So clearly, under this scenario, trying to fund all of these items, the city would not be able to continue to operate. We could go to the next slide. So based upon the results of the first scenario, we developed a second alternative by reducing the funding of those identified costs that we're not currently budgeting for. What we've done in the reduced cost estimate column is we've reduced funding for building maintenance, for compensated absences, and for equipment and vehicle replacement. And we have eliminated funding for building equipment replacement and general fund emergency reserve. And we have completely eliminated providing any funding for streets. And if I can just, on paper, we can reduce funding for building maintenance and capital building equipment replacement costs. But in reality, when those items occur, the city has got to come up with funding to pay for them. So we can either set money aside and build up a reserve and have the funding set aside when the time comes, or deal with it as large ticket items when the event occurs. But for purposes of this scenario, we've reduced those one-time additional costs from 14 million down to $938,000 in this next 2-year budget cycle. If we can go to the next slide, Amy. So with those reductions to our projected operating costs in fiscal year 21-22, we've reduced this shortfall down to just slightly under $4 million. And you can see that we've also reduced our reserve balance our general fund reserves, which is currently, we started off this fiscal year with $4.8 million in general fund reserves. General fund reserves, as you'll hear in a little bit, is not strictly cash in the bank. General fund reserves is cash plus any funds that are due to the city, and then less any short-term payments that we have. But, under this scenario, by reducing those additional costs, we would end up next year in a deficit of just about $4 million. But more importantly, our reserves would drop down to $1.4 million by the end of the year. And they would remain at about $1.3 million the following year. And for the next several years, they'd be considerably below the minimum level. And just as a point of reference, that as far as reserve levels, our current level of spending for the general fund is about $2.5 million a month. So letting reserves drop down to that level is a very risky chance to take. And next slide is just a graph of that same information. You can see the blue line again as our minimum target level of reserves. Our reserves should never go below. They should be well above that blue line. They should never touch it or go below it. And we are below that line for, it takes us 6 years under this funding scenario to at least reach the minimum level of reserves again. And again, even with this scenario, we are not providing funding for any street maintenance repair work in the general fund. The next slide. So given what we just saw with a projected $4 million operating shortfall and a drawdown of reserves, we developed a third scenario where we identified proposed actions to try to balance the next 2-year budget. And those actions included a reduction in general fund labor costs of about 14%. The dollar value on that is about $3.7 to $3.8 million a year. We're assumed maintaining the current position vacancies as was previously discussed, a further reduction to city services, reduced additional funding requirements, and again, no funding for any street maintenance or repairs. Next slide. Chris.
Right, so that then therefore brings us to what the updated position count would look like under this scenario. In the police department, we would need to go to really 26 of the benefited positions and 7 of the part-time non-benefited positions. And then in City Hall on the vacant side, we would need to go to the total of 9. So again, the green numbers, the benefited positions, the reds, the part-time non-benefited. So here you see, and this comprises all of the departments in City Hall except Police Department, which we have shown separately here. So in total, available positions, filled positions, and equaling the vacant positions under the scenario that Bill just showed you. Next slide, please. As a result of that, then the ongoing service cuts in the non-police departments would be, again, significantly reduce succession planning and training programs, We would not be able to keep up with some of these state mandates, reduce community engagement and outreach, minimal legislative tracking, eliminate or certainly diminish work on special projects, reduced economic development and communications programs, ongoing delays in development projects and public inquiries. And again, we would have less staff to be able to work on and pursue grants that may benefit the city. Next slide, please. Going to the, yep, go ahead, Chief.
In the police department, with the additional reduced staff beginning July 1, we would suspend our problem-oriented policing unit likely, and this would result in no homeless outreach, no enforcement or response to homeless calls without some type of in-progress crime involved. That means homeless camps or homeless complaints. There would have to be some type of an in-progress crime attached to that. We just wouldn't have the problem-oriented policing unit to be able to handle that. There'd be no police assistance with our Navigator program, and we'd keep the Navigator program going, our successful Navigator program, but we wouldn't have any police officers there to help her, especially when she's doing outreach in some of the homeless communities. Our community engagement programs would be eliminated or significantly reduced. For example, our neighborhood association meetings that we attend regularly, our city council liaison and security would be eliminated. Crime prevention programs, our Neighborhood Watch, Citizens Academy, and our crime prevention through environmental design surveys would be eliminated. Long-term problem, nuisance house and property abatement would be significantly reduced. Just would take a long time for us to deal with those. We just wouldn't have the staff. And then long-term community problems such as homeless camps, trash or illegal dumping, abandoned property, and shopping cart recovery would either be reduced, not be able to respond at all. The General Investigations Unit would be reduced. This is going to result in significant impact to non-violent investigations such as fraud and property crimes. There'd be no investigations of online sexual predators, human trafficking, and child exploitation. There'd be a delay in investigating cold cases and non-violent criminal investigations, and a reduced coordination with our district attorney's office and allied agency investigators. If we can go to the next slide. Our traffic unit would be reduced in size. This would result in delayed and or non-response to traffic complaints from citizens, potential increase of injury and non-injury traffic collisions, reduction to patrol overtime mitigation up to $110,000 annually. And that piece is because our traffic unit is a part of operations and patrol. And so what we do and always have done here to help mitigate our overtime budget and make sure it doesn't go too high is if we have short staff in patrol, we will temporarily move a motor officer or two into patrol, which helps us manage that overtime budget. We would have a diminished ability to do that. Inability to execute Office of Traffic Safety grant resulting in inability to meet council objectives for DUI enforcement. This is a potential for reduction in DUI arrests and a potential for increase in DUI collisions. And it would limit our ability to investigate major traffic investigations, increases impact to patrol services, and inability to respond to non-life-threatening calls for service due to securing collision scenes or redeploying traffic collision investigators from patrol teams. I'll turn it back over to Rhonda, I believe.
Actually, it's going over to Bill. So next slide, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. So again, our third scenario is an attempt to balance the next two-year budget. Included is the reduced funding for identified needs. We would continue to defer these costs. But again, when the need arises, the city would have to come up with funding to pay those costs. So, and again, no, we're assuming right now no funding for streets again. So on the next slide, with the staffing and service reductions, which the city manager and police chief just discussed, you can see where this arrow is pointing that next year, we're projecting that the shortfall has been reduced down to about $170,000. And our general fund reserves next year drop slightly below the minimum level. So with those staffing reductions and with those service level reductions in this next 2-year budget cycle, we can come pretty close, we think, to balancing the budget. So the next slide, Amy. So just to summarize, staff is in the process right now of beginning the process of developing the next 2-year budget, which in order to balance will require the need to address substantial projection shortfalls, and that will be accomplished by reducing contributions toward identified funding requirements, providing no general fund dollars for street maintenance and repair, and reducing labor and service costs. And what we see when we look at our financial forecast is that the receipt of property tax revenue in fiscal year 22-23, while it is a substantial amount, $6.6 million is what we're estimating, it does not provide sufficient funding to meet all of the identified budget requirements. Next slide. I've talked a couple of times about the city's general fund reserve policy. So just as a reminder, the reason that cities need to maintain reserve funds is to provide a safety net, if you will, in the event of unforeseen emergencies or economic downturns. As an example, this year, the city, because of the COVID emergency, is participating in the Great Plains program. And that program will eventually be reimbursed by FEMA, but in dealing with the federal government and with FEMA, that is a cost reimbursement. And so the city has had to, the general fund has had to advance about $1 million, a little bit over $1 million, and still waiting for reimbursement. So again, you just as an example, a real life recent example, you need a level of reserves to cover those events. And then also just on an ongoing basis to meet cash flow needs, because our revenues don't come in on the same schedule that city incurs expenditures, which Raj will explain to you in a minute. The City Council in Citrus Heights adopted a reserve policy about a year and a half ago in 2019. That policy states that the city will strive to maintain a minimum level of reserves of 17% of general fund operating expenditures. 17% is about 2 months worth of operating costs. That is a minimum. And when this policy was discussed with the Finance Committee actually recommended a more prudent target level of reserves would be in the range of 25 to 30%. And that is a target that I think many cities now have been trying to go to after the last economic downturn, when many agencies, many cities depleted their reserves. They realized just how important it was to have that cushion to rely on when events happened. So under the scenarios that we've discussed this evening, certainly under the first two and even under the third scenario, our reserves drop below this minimum bottom line level of reserves. Next slide.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Raj Prasad, Accounting Manager. Over the next couple of slides, I will go over the general fund's cash flow. The city receives one of its major revenues, the motor vehicle license fee, twice a year. We get that at the end of January and at the end of May. General fund also cash flows capital projects for the city, as the federal and state grants are reimbursable grants. So the city has to actually pay for those expenditures upfront while we get those reimbursements later. And sometimes those are further delayed by Department of Finance as they take a little bit extra time to process those claims. And then as we deplete our fund balance, as Bill talked about a little bit earlier, we will run into major cash flow issues to actually pay our employees and vendors. Next slide. So this slide here talks about the cash portion of the general fund reserves over the last 18 months. Remember, not everything as a general fund reserve is cash. There's other things in there as well. While the city expenditures payables for the most part are evenly distributed throughout the fiscal year, revenues and receivables are not evenly distributed. The timing of the receipt of the revenues and the city's ongoing year-on expenditures underscores the reason why agency needs an adequate general fund reserve. Agencies typically use those portion of the general fund reserve to upfront expenses. Next slide. Now with that, I'm going to turn it back over to City Manager Boyd.
All right, thank you. So council, we have discussed this briefly before, but and really coming to the recommendations that we have to move forward with building the next 2-year budget and beyond are really some principles that we would need the council to really direct. And so the main principles to reduce this budget and balance our budgets would be to reduce staff in the way that we've talked about. And it is possible that in order to hit those numbers, that layoffs be necessary, but I am also really pleased to report that the steps that we've taken so far, particularly all through calendar year 2020 and to date, and with 5 months still remaining to the July 1st really kind of mark for the 2-year budget, it's possible and likely that that the layoff requirements will be very minimal, and even also possible that we might be able to get down to not having to make any at all, depending on attrition and really what happens in our management concepts that we put forward in the next 5 months. But it's still necessary to mention it. With reducing staff, the second principle that we are really recommending is to reduce commiserate services that those staff members provide. Thirdly, we have a long, great tradition here in the city of Citrus Heights of really being committed to the hardworking men and women that provide the services. So although we will be working with quite a few less staff, reduced number, we believe that we should be continuing to commit to them, and so we can still be successful in recruiting and retaining top talent and not creating further costs that come with turnover. So we think that's an important principle, and one that we've really lived by, I think, for many years, but really reducing the staff and the services while taking care of the people that we have remaining. Lastly, fund deferred expenses as soon as possible. So we've showed you that we have over $14 million of deferred expenses. We're really recommending right now about $1 million of those to address in this upcoming budget. So we really want to underscore the need to keep this on the forefront. And if there is a windfall or there is an additional source of revenue that comes in, that we commit to those deferred expenses that we've showed you tonight. Next slide, please. All right, Rhonda, are you going to lay out the where we go from here?
Yes. And so what our proposed next steps are in February through May, we will start doing the budget development for the next 2-year budget cycle. Once we have the draft budget moving forward, we'll meet with the finance committee and with the goal of taking that to the city council for a workshop and then budget adoption in May to June of this fiscal year. And next slide, Amy. So at this point, wanted to see if there were any questions or comments on what we're talking about for our budget development for the next 2-year cycle.
Questions?
Hi, yeah, Jeannie here. Could you go back and review the difference between scenario 2 and scenario 3? I think Bill made that presentation.
Yeah. Right. Scenario 2 was not doing the personnel reductions. And scenario 3 was having reduced costs based on reducing personnel,
Okay.
addressing the $4 million deficit through the maintaining the current vacancies and adding potentially more.
Okay. All right. Everything else is the same though.
Everything else is the same.
Thank you.
I have a question,
Anyone
Mayor.
else? Yes, go ahead, Tim.
Number one, I want to start by thanking the city manager for his discretion in not using the draw on the line of credit. I really appreciate that. On the other hand, I'm looking at the presentation that was presented to us in our 2x2s last month. Looks a very different scenario. If you could roll back to the funding requirements that you had stated there, it's almost completely different set of scenarios in that you don't list in the current one you just presented, you don't list the financial system update for $450,000. And you have, there's some similar items there, but it's a little concerning to me that we don't see consistent data through this. And I'd also like to know what the 14.5%, what's the makeup of the payroll reduction that you referenced? You covered a lot of material there. And I know that's going pretty far back, but I'd certainly like to understand why we were presented one set of data last month and we're being presented a different set of data today.
Well, specifically, so why don't we go back and talk about on the funded needs list that you're referencing. So why don't you take it one at a time? We'll try to answer them.
Sure.
I think you mentioned the financial system.
Yeah, if you want to roll back to the slide with the funding requirements.
What slide was, what number
That
was?
I'm not
I
sure, it
think
was.
it's
It was
number.
back during Bill's, Mr. Nanomi. Pardon me if I mispronounce your name. There it is. And that one works fine because that is consistent through this. So on the one that you presented last month, you show, okay, so I'm just looking at the original cost estimate. So compensated absences, you show the same equipment and software, $150,000, general fund emergency, you show $500,000 general plan, update OPEB is 248. Vehicle replacement is 400, and streets are 12 million. But you show no, the planning project tracking software, 40,000 is not on this list.
Yeah, we can.
You don't,
I can
I can
explain.
explain it, but let me start off by saying this. We did 2x2s with the council 2 months ago. This process is daily. Everybody you see here on the screen, all of the staff works on this tirelessly every day. And this has been going on for months. And when we met with you, that was a preliminary meeting around the holiday season to get to the council with what we've been working with at that time, with the understanding that we'd be coming back and working on this for many more weeks and get it to a point where we could bring it to the full council in a public meeting and in front of the community. So that's the background on what a 2x2 generally serves for in something this extensive. But since that time, let's address any differences between what you saw a couple of months ago, or in December, I guess it's less than 2 months ago, a month ago, and what we come to tonight. So the financial, Mr. Schaefer, I think you mentioned the financial software system. Would you like to start with that one?
Sure.
All right,
And
Rhonda.
when we met on the 2x2, we were providing update on all of the unfunded items. Our presentation tonight, if you look at the timing, we removed everything from the unfunded items that was a one-time purchase. That it wasn't going to be something that we would be building into all 10 years of the budget model. And so those are still funded items or items that we will need funding for. We're just not anticipating having to address those in the next 2-year budget cycle, or alternate funding has been identified between the time we met with the Finance Committee and where we are today.
Okay. So one other issue that I have here is you stated in the 2x2 on last month, and it was December 18th, wasn't 2 months ago. You stated that none of these expenses of December 18th hadn't been budgeted in over 10 years. And we're going to choose to pull this out now during a pandemic that suddenly we need it's an emergency, we fund these items. I think that certainly, I don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense to me that you're going to pull all this entire table of doom and gloom out right when we're in the middle of a pandemic. Of course, things aren't going to be great. Things aren't great for everybody associated with the pandemic. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Just for background, Tim, we've always put money aside for capital needs and maintenance and equipment and vehicle replacement. What we're looking at here is a huge reduction in not really being able to meet our annual needs, but at least making an effort to cover it. If we've got to go 2 years without financial software, so be it. And I realize that the majority of our voters told us to tighten our belts and live within our means. And I think these numbers are going to change. So don't be surprised in a month if you see some slightly different numbers as things get crunched, and possibly, we do get some CARES Act funding, but I don't see that happening. The county was made whole with $180 million CARES Act, but to see only $1 million, and I don't know if anything's coming out of Congress or the national level to bail out the small cities, and especially the rural areas are the ones that are struggling the most with this, but it's hit us hard. And so these are not unusual set-asides, we're just reducing them.
And if I could add the information that you saw in December, specifically for the financial system update, the $450,000, those dollars were programmed in fiscal year 2023-24, so outside of the next 2-year budget cycle. And those dollars are still in the information that was presented this evening, but it's outside of this 2-year two-year window.
I have a question regarding the general fund reserve. Maybe it has been said before, but I don't ever remember hearing or knowing that we use the general fund reserve as kind of a, cash cow or whatever you want to call it, to pay off certain things, to front money and stuff like that. Have we always done that with the general fund reserve?
General fund reserve is your bank account for any general fund related costs. So it's not a cash cow at all. It's any general fund expenses are funded with those reserves. And depending on when revenues come in, if there aren't, you start off the year with the balance. In your case, you started off the year with a fund balance of $4.8 million, but the cash balance, actual cash in the bank, was, I believe, about $1.5 million. So it's certainly not a cash cow, but it's what you have to operate with. And then as revenues come in, you add to that, and then you spend about $2.5 million a month just for labor and other operating costs.
And so maybe I'm just hearing it differently or what, but my understanding is when we talk about the general fund reserve, we're talking about that little set aside that we created for the rainy day fund for the problem.
Well, no, that's the fund, and that's why you want that reserve to be significantly higher than what it is right now.
Okay, so I need some clarification in my mind. Are we talking about the general fund, or are we talking about the special fund reserve that we created to have for that one day when the rainy day came along? And or we're just, go ahead, Chris.
I can say this. This is the general fund reserve. It's always been used from day one of cityhood, as most cities do, for cash flow. As was explained earlier, it's also to be used for emergencies, but it's never been a one fund balance fund that just sits at $5 million and never moves. It's always been used.
Right, this is the fund that we at one point had in the $35 million range, right? We're talking about that fund, right? That reserve?
We only have one reserve for the general fund, isn't that correct, Chris? We don't have a special reserve and a general fund reserve.
I think if you looked at the financial statements of many cities, what you would see is a general fund, unassigned fund balance, and that's what we're talking about here with this $5 million. And then you'd also see a separate line with something called, it's called, a lot of times it's called a contingency reserve or an emergency reserve in addition to that, and that's what Citrus Heights does not have.
Okay, I've just got to say that that's just not correct in how this city created this fund. This fund was created, and again, we're probably not, this conversation doesn't really come to mean anything, and I'm sorry I used the term cash cow. It's for cash flow, I understand that part of it. But this fund was created initially as a source of a revenue for when our expenditures outpaced our revenues. That's what it was created for. That's what it was made. And I just want to make sure I'm still talking about the same fund.
None of us, well.
This would be a question for Chris, please.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't here, 22 years ago. So if that's back when you're referring to, I can't.
Okay, so we're talking about the same fund. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, then the only other question I have is the number was given as 5 million earlier. And not knowing that we did those kind of things and we funded the Great Plates effort through it, we're $1 million down on that. Does the 5 million include that 1 million that we're still waiting to get back for that project?
Rhonda, I believe it does, but Rhonda.
Yes, it does. It does.
It's actually closer to 2 million. It's 1.7 million we're waiting on from Great Plates.
Okay, so does that mean we only have 3.3 million if we're still waiting on that 1.7 million?
If
Yes.
you're talking about a cash balance, it may even be different from that. We have not received our major revenue source for this year, and that's our motor vehicle, and that will come to us usually right at the end of January, 1st of February. So our actual cash balance is probably less than that now. It could be even in the negative as we have assets that are receivables. And this again is why the general fund is so important, the balance that's maintained in there. And I also wanted to clarify one thing. After we got done talking and answering your question about the Sylvan property, the money when I was talking about, they do make the deposit in escrow and we get notified of that, but we will not have access to any of the Sylvan property money until escrow actually closes.
Well, that's great. All right, thanks.
Portia, any questions?
This is not new to us. We've been seeing this trend since early last year, and we knew that we were going to get to this point where we're going to have to make some serious cuts. And I think the thing about it is it hurts now because we're seeing it on the screen right here in front of us. And we're just going to have to, pull together and do the best that we can by our staff and by our community to get this done. We don't really have a choice in this. We can't make any magic money appear, so we're going to have to make do with what we have.
Okay, thank you. And I'll just say, one of my experiences early on with Regional Transit, when they were strapped for cash in 2010, they had to use a line of credit just to meet payroll. And I heard tonight that's something we do. We use the reserve as somewhat of a shock absorber, but the money eventually gets replaced. And so I'm not a financial whiz by any means, but accounts receivable and accounts accruable, I never did that in my line of work. It was, how much money do I have right now? So regardless, my understanding when the original council, and I think you were on it, Brett, when you established the reserve, or it could have been a couple of years beforehand, was 3 items: unexpected expenses, one-time major expenses, and expenses of opportunity. It was there to be used. And this is a trend we've seen since 2012. I remember Henry's 10-year budget then showing we'd be where we're at right now. And we made some cuts. We also went to the voters with Measure K. They said no to more police and no to roads. And we made do and we made cuts. And we've seen other reductions in our revenues from the state and also these unfunded mandates. So it's been tough, but I don't want to look in the rearview mirror. I think we're doing what we need to do. I agree with the principles. It's going to be a tough couple of years. And folks aren't going to be happy. But I'm just really surprised. I'm not a big tax advocate, and I wouldn't have gone to the voters with this. I got on this council to build up our police department, and we did that. We were, stood out in the region, the state, and I think even the nation, and we're still there. We have a quality department. We're going to have to make some cuts for a while, and we can then start to build back up our police department. But I was really surprised that a majority of our residents said, no, we don't want to fund our police. We don't want to fund our roads. No more taxes. And I respect that. So on we go. And this is very tough. It makes me sick to my stomach to have to do, but it's not scare tactics. It's not worst case scenarios. Well, it is worst case scenarios, but it's also an exercise in reality that we have to all deal with. So onwards and upwards. I don't know that we can go much lower, but we'll turn it around and work to get better. I got full faith in our staff. They've done a great job just working on these numbers. I know they're evolving and they're going to change. Hopefully, maybe the new federal administration helps us out, but I'm not counting on that. We're on our own here.
I wouldn't put any faith in that at all,
Oh, we can't. We never have, Jeannie.
No, I know. I'm just saying, it's been stated tonight, but I would not even consider that, just like we didn't consider it the first time. We've got to stand on our own. And budgets are a forecast. I've worked with budgets for many years with a lot fewer zeros than this, but with the nonprofit work that I've done, and there are times when we've had to revise the budget mid-year because things didn't turn out the way we anticipated them to be. And that's a fact. You know, what we look at 1 month is not the way it necessarily is going to play out 3 months later. It's the best look at it with what we know. And so, you know, I guess that just speaks to the fact that budgets are dynamic, and we have got to be able to understand that. It would be great if our cash flow came in exactly the same time as our expenditures, but it doesn't. Sometimes our months are up, some other months you spend more than you take in. It's just the way it is in any budget. I don't know. Yeah, this is just, it's hard to look at. It breaks my heart in many ways. But I just know that our staff has done everything they possibly could to give us real numbers and a real solution. So I think from here we go forward with what we have to do.
Now, I do have a question that I forgot about. I noticed we talked about delays to development projects. And that really, is that general fund? I thought that was fee-based, or is there an impact from reducing the general fund and staff on that?
Colleen, do you want to talk about that?
Yes, as was mentioned, we've the entire year of 2020, we froze numerous positions. One of those was a planner position that was vacant, and we did not fill that. So for that reason, we have fewer staff to process those same number of projects, which results in a delay.
Okay, thanks. And I appreciate all the work that went into this and the presentation. I think one thing that might be helpful, because I know the council members understand the difference between the general fund and enterprise funds and the capital fund, but I think we need to do a better job, because I don't think most residents know that we can't just transfer money from, say, a bike project that was grant funded over to the general fund. And I think we need to do a better job educating. Maybe I'll write some civic finance 101 for the newspaper or something, just to kind of explain how this all works. Any other comments?
Nope. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
All right, thank you, council.
All right, we'll see everybody back here at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Beware the short agenda.